go, we have an ox goad has an exterior and an interior, from hand breadth for the blade and from 4 hand breadths for the prod. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir says they do not have an exterior and an interior. The measures of 4 hand breadth and even 7 breadths were mentioned only with regard to measurements of ox goads. Measuring instruments used for wine and oil and a zomavestra and a mustard strainer and a wine strainer have an exterior and an interior. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says they do not have an exterior and an interior. Rabbi Shimon says they do have an exterior and an interior, and in that if they were rendered tummy through their exterior, the contents remain tahor. But only one must immerse the entire vessel. Regarding a rover and a half rover, if the rover becomes tummy, the half rover does not become tummy, and if the half rover becomes tummy, the rover does not become tummy. They said before Rabbi Akiva, given that the half rover is the exterior of the rover, a utensil whose interior became tummy does not its exterior become tummy? He said to them, the question is that of the group of students who sit in front, or perhaps the rover is considered the exterior of the half rover. Thus, a utensil whose exterior becomes tummy, its interior does not become tummy.
All right. So continuing on the story of the rover and the half rover. So nitma harova. Now, what happens if the rover becomes tamei? Harova v'achorav tamein, chatzi harova v'achorav tahorin. You see, the thing is basically split into 2 utensils, as you can see in the diagram. It's each half is colored differently, so it's treated as if they're 2 separate utensils as far as tuma and tara are concerned. Okay, same thing. Nitma chatzi harova, chatzi v'achorav tamein, harova v'achorav tahorin. So its exterior becomes tamei, but the rover part remains tahor. Okay. Now, what happens about the exterior? Nitma'u acharei harova. Now, if the exterior of the rover became tamei, acharei chatzi harova tahorin, divrei Rabbi Meir. He says in the same way as the interior only is matame the exterior of that part of the kli, the exterior also is only matame the exterior of that part of the kli. I said, Adkan, if the exterior became tamei from a liquid, we're going to actually make the entire exterior tamei, even though the interiors of both Keilim remains tahor.
Right. Okay.
And again, the halacha will follow the chachamim. Keshehu matbil is kulo, and when he takes it to mikveh, so let's say the rover part became tamei. It's not good enough for him to take the thing and hold it by the chatzi rover and stick it into the mikveh only up to the line where the rover is. In order for it to be completely immersed, it has to be completely immersed, including the chatzi rover. Otherwise, it's ikelu. It hasn't been fully immersed in the mikveh if you're still holding half of it outside. So the tevilah has to be the entire kli. Okay. Okay, so now the Mishnah over here is introducing a third aspect of Keilim, that if it's got an interior and an exterior, so let's just say you've got a cup. Okay, so the interior is here on the inside, the exterior is here on the outside, and then you've also got the handle.
Right.
Okay. Now the handle is a third part of the cup, and what this Mishnah is introducing the fact that shenaflu alei mashkin, that if a tamei liquid fell on the handle of the cup, and we're talking about like all these things that we're talking about, the bases, the rims, the ears, and the handles, all these things are exterior parts that are sort of like some sort of a handle to the kli itself. That's not part of the functional part of the kli. We'll put it under the general rule, general category of handles.
The handle we consider a rim.
So it's interesting. The rim. There is some discussion about the rim. Like, why would the rim not be considered part of the functional kli? It may be that it's a decorative rim that they're talking about over here. That's not part of it. But I think the easiest way to understand all of these cases is just put them all under the general thing of handles. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about over here. Okay, so now a liquid fell if a tamei liquid fell on the handle, what happens? Menagvan behem tahorim. Just dry them off completely. Dry them off, and it doesn't affect the tumah tara of any part of the kli. Why can they do this? Because remember, tamei liquids is itself a din d'Rabbanan. Okay, and the reason why we're trying to be careful about liquids, and there was a specific reason why Chachamim made this gezerah on liquids, just to keep people careful about the tumah and tara. But me'ikar adin, midoraisa, the tamei liquid didn't do anything. Okay, and the Chachamim can, when they make their gezerah, they can make fancy rules like this. They can make all these interesting little conditions where the Torah just said, blanket rule. Okay. And what the Chachamim were careful about was that they didn't want a complete proliferation of tumah out of control, and cups. And we'll see in one of the reasonings that we get is that cups have got they're all over the place. People are always drinking out of cups. And if you're going to start making tumah on handles of cups and whatever, then you're going to have tumah just going everywhere. They said, just forget about it. If it's on the handle of the cup, the Chachamim won't go there.
Okay.
So that's the idea. Just dry them off and think no more of it. But regarding all the other Keilim, I'm not sure what's this having that cannot hold pomegranates is erased. It's the words. Yeah, if you look at the footnotes number 2, it says the words were erroneously transcribed in our Mishna and should be deleted. So we're going to ignore that phrase. And all other Keilim, so in other words, Keilim that do not have a clear achorayim v'toch. So, for example, a flat table, so some other kli that's let's say a metal flatware, like a sword, for example. Right. Okay, that's definitely tamei. It's got no but it's got no interior, no exterior. It's got a handle, whatever. She'ein lahem achorayim v'toch shenaflu mashkin al miktaso kulo tamei. So even if a drop of tamei liquid falls on the handle of a sword, boom, whole thing is tamei. There's no distinction. So either you've got 3 aspects or you've got 1.
And liquid falls on any part of that sword, correct?
Any part of that sword. Any part of that sword, it's the whole thing is treated as a single unit. So if it's got an interior and an exterior, then it also has a handle. Right. If it doesn't have an interior or an exterior, then it doesn't have a handle either. Okay. If
a sword was in a sheath, the sheath holding the sword, and that sheath became tamei, would that transfer?
Keilim don't transmit if unless the kli is an avatuma. So, for example, it won't transmit to another kli, because a kli can only reach the status of rishon.
Right.
So if the kli is a rishon, it won't transmit to anything else. Okay. So now let's take our cup again. The exterior of the cup had a splash of tamei liquid on it. Achorav tamein. So fine, all the exterior of the cup becomes tamei. Tocho v'ogno v'ozno v'yadav tahorin. Then both the interior and the handle remain tahor. So they're treated separately. Nitma tocho kulo tamei. However, if the interior became tamei from a liquid, yeah, that's it. Everything is now tamei. There's no distinction. Okay. Now Mishna Zayin starts going into the subtleties of what case we're talking about. Okay. Kol Keilim yesh lahem achorayim v'toch v'yesh lahem beis tzavia. So now, when you've got a finger hold, okay, you see the little diagram over there. There's a little finger hold over there, which is not quite the same as a handle. Okay, but it's a place for you to grip the kli. Okay. So the gripping indentation, right? Okay. So that's called the beis tzavia. Rabbi Tarfon Omer la'areva gedola shel eitz. So when you've got a gripping place like this, there's a distinction between the gripping place is similar to the handle. Okay, but says Rabbi Tarfon. This only applies to a large wooden trough. Why? Because the large wooden trough has to be handled by those pieces, and that's considered a handle, and therefore he says that those gripping places are treated like a handle in another kli. The Tanakama is saying anything that's got a gripping place is like a handle.
Okay.
Okay, but Rabbi Tarfon says no. It's only with that large thing. Why does it say the wooden one and not the ceramic one? Because the ceramic one, earthenware is the exterior is tahor anyway. All earthenware exteriors are tahor because earthenware only gets tahor from the inside. Okay. Okay. Rabbi Akiva Meir Kosos, he says no. This is talking about cups. He says because cups are, as I said earlier, used all the time. If you've got a cup that's got an indentation for people to grip, then that's the place that that they're lenient about. Now, it's not clear from here whether Rabbi Akiva disputes Rabbi Tarfon's case or whether he says also cups. So it could be taken either way, and there are different opinions as to what Rabbi Akiva is saying, if he's adding the case of cups or replace or saying I don't hold by the wooden trough. Rabbi Meir Omer liyadeh. Okay, so Rabbi Meir says liyadayim hatmeos v'hatohoros. Rabbi Meir says this. Okay, we're going to have to take a step back here and understand what there's going to be a machlokes Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi about whether we're talking about tahor hands or tamei hands. In other words, which direction is the tumah is the prospective tumah moving? So if you're talking about tamei hands, it means that there's tahor liquid on the outside of the cup. Okay, and now somebody with tamei hands comes and picks up the cup. Now, if his hands are tamei, that's usually we're talking about a sheni l'tumah. It's like stam yadayim. That's the gezerah. If it's only his hands that are tamei, we're talking dafka about a tumah d'Rabbanan, as opposed to if the person himself is tamei. Okay, so we're talking about a sheni l'tumah on hands, which means that all that happens is they can be matame truma. But the sheni l'tumah on the liquids elevates it to rishon. Remember, the liquids have that magic that they automatically go back up to rishon. Okay, that's part of the din d'Rabbanan.
So if he has tamei hands and he picks up that cup,
he has tamei hands and he touches the cup. So let's say the water's on the exterior.
not the handle. He doesn't touch the handle. He puts the cup on top.
Let's just talk first about the rest of the exterior, not the handle. If he touches that liquid, then the liquid becomes tamei. It becomes a rishon, and it makes the exterior tamei as a rishon. Okay. If, however, he touches the handle, Rabbi Meir says this. It doesn't matter whether the tumah is going in or out. The handle, the fact that it's on the handle is means that it's not. We're going to ignore it. He's not going to transmit tumah, because already we're talking about tumah d'Rabbanan, which is going on the hands, which is now going to a tumah d'Rabbanan on the liquid. It says forget it. That's where we're saying that the liquid that's on the outside, we can just dry it off. Okay. And Rabbi Yossi says, no, that case is still going to be tamei. But the case where you've got, where it's the other direction, where a tamei liquid splashed onto the exterior, onto the handle of the kli, and now he's got tahor hands and he touches that liquid, do his hands become tamei? And that's where, and we say, no, that won't make his hands tamei.
Because we said before that they said they didn't want to deal with the handles.
Yeah, so everyone agrees about tahor hands that they don't become tamei from the situation. The machlokes is about tamei hands, where Rabbi Meir says that also tamei hands, but Rabbi Yossi says no, only tahor hands. Okay, the halacha follows the Tanakama in terms of the all utensils have an exterior, an interior, and a base severe. So it follows him there, but with the qualification of Rabbi Yossi that this is only applicable to tahor hands, not to tamei hands. Okay, and we can go back on to Chazara.
Okay, Gimel. I know Gimel.
Yes, Gimel.
What is the difference between a markav and a moshav with regard to a markev? The merkav, touching it is different than carrying it. But with regard to moshav, touching it is no different than carrying it. And a pack saddle of a donkey that one sits upon is tahor. If one changed the number of holes or opened the holes onto the other, it is tame. The bear, the pillow, and the mattress of a corpse, those can become tame with midras tuma. A bridal chair, a birthing stool of a woman in childbirth, and a launderer's seat upon which he stacks the clothing. Rabbi Yossi says these are not subject to the tuma of Moshe. A fish trap, a fishing net is tame on account of the bottom. Nets, traps, a bird snare, a wooden snare, and a fisherman's traps are tame. A fish trap, a bird trap, and a bird cage are tahor.
Yeah.
Am I finished with this section now? Are we gonna start again?
It's all in Keilim. We're just moving on in Keilim. We're nowhere near finished Keilim.
Okay, all right. Okay. So now we should be over here. Your base Zion.
Correct.
Dinner that became disqualified and one prepared in order to hang it around a girl's neck in tame is tame, and likewise a seller that becomes disqualified and one prepared it in order to weigh it with it is tame. To what degree may a seller become disqualified and it will still be permitted to keep it? Up to 2 dinners. Less than that, he must cut off the coin. An ola and a pen and a plummet and weights and a curum and a thula and a writing tablet are tame. And all unfinished wooden utensils are tame, except for those made from eshkora. A yuda says a small utensil made of an olive branch is tahor until its sap is removed. We've restored a knife, a dagger, a spear, a sickle, a hand sickle, a reaping sickle, a trimming scissors, and the scissors of bathers that were separated. The barbers.
Yes.
Barbers that were separated, they are tame. Rabbi Yossi says the part closer of the handle is tame, but the part closer to the tip is tahor. Regarding shears that were separated to 2 parts, Rabbi Yehuda rules them tame, but the sages rule them tahor. Okay. Let me just see one thing over here. This is B, and that was C. All right, so I'm just going to continue to the end of this. When I reach the end of this, if you're not back, I should start the beginning of my third part, which would be which would be 16. Number 16. Okay, I'll just keep this over here for now. Okay, Truma. If this is Hey Dalit. If one declares this animal is hereby a tamora for an ola, a tamora for a shalomim, it is thereby a tamora for an ola. These are the words of Rav Meir. Rabbi Yossi says if it intended to say this from the outset, since it is impossible to utter 2 designations simultaneously, his declaration stand. However, if after he declared this is hereby a tamora for an ola, they then be considered and declared a tamora for a shalom, and it is a tamora for an ola. If one declares this unconsecrated animal is hereby in place of the offering, the substitute of this or the exchange of this, the consecrated animal thereby becomes a tamora. However, if he declares this offering is hereby deconsecrated until the consecrated animal, the unconsecrated animal is not a tamora. But if the consecrated animal with blemish then becomes unconsecrated, and then he must make up its value. If one declares this animal is hereby in place of a katos or in place of an ola, if he has not said anything, however, if he declares in place of this katos or in place of this ola, or in place of a katos or in place of an ola, that have in the house, if he had such an offering, his words stand. If one declared regarding a non-kosher animal or blemished animal, these are hereby an ola, he has not said anything, and these are hereby for an ola, and they are sold, and he brings their proceeds an ola. An ola, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and shus. Okay, Gimel Dalet. I swear that I will not eat any foods that are unfit to eat or drink, or drink beverages that are unfit to drink. He's exempt. I swear that I will not eat any nevelos, trifles, abominable creatures, or crawling things. He is liable. The Shimon exempts him. If he said, "Konam, that my wife derived pleasure from me that I have eaten, if I have eaten today, and he has eaten nevelos, trifles, abominable creatures, or crawling things, his wife is forbidden." The law applies both to matters pertaining to himself and as well to matters pertaining to others, and to both matters of substance and matters lacking substance. How so? If we said, I swear that I will give to so and so, or that I will not give, or I gave, or that I did not give, or that I will sleep, or that I will not sleep, that I slept, or that I will not sleep, that I will cast a pebble into the sea, or that I will not cast, or that I have cast, or that I have not cast, Rabbi Yishmael says he is liable only for oaths concerning the future, as it states to do bad or to do good. Said Rabbi Kiva to him, if so, we know only of things pertaining to doing bad or good. But how do we know the things now pertaining to doing bad or good? He said to him, for the extension of the verse, and he said to him, if the verse extended in it that regard, the verse extended it into this regard as well. If one swore to annul a mitzvah and he did not annul it, he is exempt. To fulfill a mitzvah and he did not fulfill it, he is exempt. For he might have been inferred that he might be liable, as in the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda ben Yisera. Rabbi Yehuda ben Yisera said, if an optional matter concerning which he was not endured from Mount Sinai, he is liable. But them for a mitzvah concerning which he endured from Mount Sinai, it is not certain that he should be liable. They said to him, no, if you say this is regard to an optional oath, it is because Scripture has made negative equivalent or positive in that regard. Will you say this in the case of an oath to fulfill a mitzvah in which Scripture does not make a negative equal to positive, where he swears to annul it and he does not annul it, he is exempt?
Yeah.
Okay, Gimel Aleph. If the Beis Din of Israel saw the moon or the witnesses were interrogated, but they did not manage to say it is sanctified before it grew dark, it is full. If only Beis Din saw it, two of them should stand and testify before the others, and they should say, it is sanctified, it is sanctified. If three saw it and they constitute a Beis Din, then two should stand up and set some of their colleagues beside the single one and testify before them and say, it is sanctified, for an individual is not trusted alone. All shofars are valid except for that of a cow because it is called a karam. Rabbi Yossi said, these are not all scholars called Karen. And as it is said, when they make a long blast with the ram's Karen, the shofar of Rosh Hashanah should be from a wild goat, straight or with a gold-covered mouthpiece, and with two trumpets at its side. The shofar blows long, and the trumpets blow short, and the commandment of the day is with the shofar. Okay, and we have Peah. Okay. Zion Bet. For an olive tree standing among three rows of two rectangles was forgotten. It is not chikakah. If an olive tree which contains two saws was forgotten, it is not chikakah. When does this apply? When he had not begun. But if he had begun, even as a netafia olive in its time, and he forgot, it was chikakah. As long as he has under it, he has a top. The mayor says from the time the machaba is gone. What do I do here? There we go. Wait, something. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Bunch of notes here. Okay. Which is parrot, which falls off the tree at the time of the vintage. If while a person was harvesting, he cut the cluster by its stalk, it became entangled in the leaves. If it fell from his hand to the ground and be separated, then this belongs to the owner. If it sets down this basket under the vine which he's harvesting, then he robs the poor of him. The poor of him, it is said, remove not the landmark of those who come up. Which is Olev. Wherever has neither katav or natav, if it has a katav or natav, is to the owner. If there is a doubt, to the poor. Ola to the joint. If it is nipped off with the cluster, then it belongs to the owner. If not, then it belongs to the poor. A single berry, Rabbi Yehuda says cluster, but the others say Olev.
Okay, and I have got to run.
Okay, have a great trip. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
See you.
Don't work too hard. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.